Seti's ever coming up over these niggas. Seti's ever coming up over these niggas. Seti's ever coming up over these crackers. Seti's ever coming up over these actors. Seti's ever coming up over these niggas. That's right. I'm in the house, family. I'm in the house. Right, black at y'all ass. That's right. We don't let up. We put our feet on the gas. Keep that shit moving. You understand what I'm saying? We doing something that ain't nobody doing. We got a goddamn channel of just nothing but African information. Just rolling down. If y'all was rocking with the general in so-called February, for many of y'all nigga, that's Black History Month, nigga. I rocked you, nigga, for Black History Month. I rocked you for Black History Month. But every month is Black History Month for General Seti. So we ain't worried about none of that. I'm going to let the family come. I'm going to give them 2 minutes. Let them get on in. You understand what I'm saying? Give them 2 minutes. I know I had to run and use the bathroom and all that shit. Get them some water and shit. I'm going to give you a few minutes. You see what I'm saying? I don't come up off niggas. And when I hit hard. I hit hard. Mike Tyson hits. You see what I'm saying? And that, I'm ready. For anybody that want it, you understand? Again, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? To do whatever got to be done to uphold the redemption of the Nile Valley and African knowledge and wisdom. And the master teaches that I'm going to go to war. And I'm going to use everything in my arsenal to destroy you niggas. And which going to get done. I already see it. I already see it happening now. You know what I'm saying? Like I came 10 years, I can see it happening again. You understand? All I had to do is stay on the field and stay working. I'm going to move you niggas right on out the way. Boop, boop. See you, nigga. See you. I'm going to make y'all niggas get pack your little TP up, jump right on your little donkey and roll your ass on up out of here. I'm going to put that work on you niggas. Straight up. They say Seti got ego. You goddamn right I got it. Got a lot more. Matter of fact, I see I'm gonna need to plug my computer in. Let me go on and plug it in before I get to rocking. As soon as I said it, it turned red. It wasn't even in the red. As soon as I said, what was that? 943. You know how most niggas, let me play that in the number. You know what I'm saying? Let me play that in the number. You know how spooky niggas, let me play that in the number. Hey, y'all, look, I had a dream about Dr. Clark the other day. Damn, a serious, we was talking. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't no history. It was like we was a everyday conversation. But I was like, Dr. Clark, he was like the head of some type of business or something. You know what I'm saying? But he had, same old Dr. Clark, had a suit on and everything. I say, damn, you know what I'm saying? And we was talking, I was in the business talking with him and whatnot. And they, because Dr. Clark's so intelligent, they put him in charge of this business or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I went into business and Dr. Clark was in there, man, this was serious. This was serious. That's telling me something. When the master starts showing up in my dream like that, that's telling me something. Let me plug this on in. All right. We're in the house. What numbers we looking at right now? And I'm not gonna try. Good. We good enough. We got enough family in there because it'd be so many people that's watching it after the fact anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, if you ain't in the house right now, you slipped off. I know you had to go get you a sandwich or some, this, that, and the third. Now, what I'm gonna deal with now is even show you what I did with the pre-dynastic burials and this, that, and the third. We're gonna look at ancient Nubia, which is today would be it would, when you look at Egypt today, half of that was Nubia. You understand what I'm saying? Even further down than that. And I'm gonna, we'll talk about it because I think in that instant, I'm gonna need the maps to really show y'all all that I need to show. You know what I'm saying? But you got to understand the first capital of Egypt is Memphis. And so until, when you get Memphis from Mena, who's supposedly one of the earliest kings of Egypt, okay, Mena. Now, it's an argument. I don't know if they consider Narmer and Mena the same. You know what I'm saying? But Memphis was named after Mena, okay, who was one of the first kings. And so until they construct Memphis, there is no Egypt because Memphis is the first capital of Egypt, okay? So how in the hell are you going to have an Egypt before Memphis? You see what I'm saying? So all of that before Memphis is Ethiopia. That's Ethiopia. Okay. And when they established Memphis, then you start to see, the formation of ancient Egypt. But we're going to go and show hands down, we're going to stop all this dumb shit. If you niggas want to go up, run up in the TP and do all, but you will not be able to explain ancient Egypt by any other civilization continent other than Africa. It's an African civilization completely 100%. You understand? Egypt was already advanced, old kingdom, middle kingdom, new kingdom. All of that had been constructed before the first invaders ever came into Africa. Okay? Nobody added to nothing at all. It's all 100% African. Okay? Until the Greek, and even then, all they did was add some superficial shit because they didn't have no architects. Everything that was built under the Ptolemies and the Romans was built by the African masons. Okay, so an architect. So that'll kill that. Okay, so let that be known. So it's 100% African. So if you niggas want to go and run up in your goddamn TP and smoke your motherfucking crazy smoke or whatever the fuck you, go right on ahead. Goddamn it, I'm gonna get on the African Holocaust real soon. Go get off into that extensively. We're gonna crush them niggas on that. Tired of you. Tired of your lies. Tired of all of that. You niggas can go, dress up like Indians for Mardi Gras. That's real soon. You understand? We getting on you niggas. Matter of fact, is Mardi Gras started yet? It might have just started. Did it start? It already started. You understand what I'm saying? I should have got on you niggas the other week. You understand what I'm saying? But I was talking about something that really matters. Y'all see this right here? Rule number 1. I'm always right. Okay? See the back for rule number 2. Okay? Y'all want to see the back? Let me show y'all the back for rule number 2. Let me get my phone so I can see that. Y'all see that? Rule number 2. See the front. Okay? See the front. You want to see the front? Rule number 1. I'm always right. Okay? That's the goddamn facts around here. You understand what I'm saying? And even if I'm wrong, I'm so close to goddamn right. It's like goddamn horseshoes. They like get a nigga a few points. The nigga so goddamn close. Goddamn it, the nigga still right. You know what I'm saying? That's how we roll. Not to keep you up all night. You understand what I'm saying? We want to get on off into the depth of what we talking about today. Here we go. The old kingdom of ancient Egypt, Nubia, and the shocking connection. Let me get my Nubia up here. Oh, this is gonna be powerful, family. This is gonna be powerful today. Straight up. It's gonna be seriously powerful. And I'm so, excited to be able to do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm so excited to be able to do this. Because when I get to showing the facts, a nigga can't say nothing. They can go hide up under and talk to them other little Negro, but most of the family that see these facts, they like, oh man, these niggas is done for. You see what I'm saying? Nah, let me go and start sharing immediately. Because we already hot. We already hot around here. We already hot around here. No, I even hear scholars out here talking about the map is upside down, and they don't know why the map is upside down. They be watching my video and they see the map is upside down, but they don't know why it's oriented that way. You understand what I'm saying? So they got half the story. They say Europe is on the bottom, and they say all that, but they don't explain the orientation of the Nile Valley. You see what I'm saying? And so we understand that the river Nile, you got two major branches of the Nile, the white and the blue Nile. And if you look in the Sudan, you'll see right there at Khartoum. No, I can't move my arm. You see right there in the Sudan, you see Khartoum, which is the capital of the Sudan. Now, that's partially Nubia, okay? That's partially Nubia. When Egypt became the mightier nation, then Nubia was primarily in the Sudan and in portions of lower Egypt, what you see as Egypt today. Now, let me be clear that when you look at all these national boundaries, those national boundaries were just put into the map, just recently when Europeans started to colonize Africa. So you can't look at these boundary lines on this particular map and think that that's the way that it's always been. Okay? These nations, but Nubia and Egypt, the boundary lines, move based on the area where the royalty came from. Okay? Under the 25th dynasty, you understand, which came up out of Nubia, okay, the capital was Napata, which is deep into the Sudan, So, from the Napata all the way down to the Mediterranean was, the empire of Egypt, okay? That was, which included Nubia, and Nubia was the capital at that time. So again, based on the area where the king or the royalty came from, the boundary of Egypt and Nubia could change based on just that demographic alone, okay? Where the king or queen came from, okay? But understanding that the river is flowing from the south. If you look all the way down, you see that lake, you know what I'm saying? That's at the beginning of the Nile. That's criminally renamed Lake Victoria. I'm going to say that again. Criminally renamed Lake Victoria. There is no lake in Africa named Victoria. Matter of fact, she ain't even got one in England or Britain named after Victoria. Okay, so to come into Africa and name a lake and everything in Africa, you got the Lake Albert and all of this shit, the Albert Nile, and naming all these things of Africa after some goddamn colonizer. You understand what I'm saying? So the only reason why I say Lake Victoria is because, if you had to go to a map, that's what it's going to say. So I don't want to confuse you about where the lake is located. So, but we understand that it's criminally renamed. So anytime you say Lake Victoria, you should say criminally renamed Lake Victoria, to let the family know that we are not in any agreement with nothing of African origins being named after no goddamn colonizer. Okay, so we understand that the White Nile, it begins at Lake Victoria. It might have some origins on the other side. You see what I'm saying? So this is where the White Nile is flowing out of. And then you got the Blue Nile, which is flowing out of the mountains of Ethiopia. Okay? Matter of fact, no, it's flowing out of Lake Tana. Lake Tana. Okay, so you got the Blue Nile coming out of Lake Tana, and then you got the White Nile flowing out of criminally renamed Lake Victoria. They come together at Khartoum. If you see that city there, Khartoum, that's where the White and the Blue Nile come together. And from Khartoum is one river all the way down to the Mediterranean. And what's very, very key when you talking about the agriculture of ancient Egypt, okay? We talking about the flooding of the Nile. And you're talking about this rich fertilizer that come down the river when it floods. It's coming out of Ethiopia, okay? Even though the White Nile is longer than the Blue Nile, the Blue Nile is more powerful than the White Nile. So when the Blue Nile starts to flood, it just overtakes the river. You see what I'm saying? And if I'm not mistaken, almost 80% of the water that flow down into Egypt comes out of Ethiopia. And that's very key. You know, the water and the silk, which is the fertilizer, which the farmers of ancient Egypt use every year, that rich fertilizer is what made Egypt so plentiful in agriculture. You understand? Egypt was the bread basket of the ancient world. You could probably get 5, 6 crops out of Egypt. You see, that's profound. You could, matter of fact, it was so much food growing in Egypt even before they, you know what I'm saying? They began to systematically set the farms up and whatnot. You could go down in the mouth of ancient Egypt and you probably find everything in the world already growing wild. All type of vegetables, fruits, and you know what I'm saying? Because this is how the land is set up. So based on agriculture, okay, based on agriculture alone, and based on the fertilizer that makes Egypt so great agriculturally, Egypt is the daughter of Ethiopia. It's just that simple, okay? It's just that simple that Egypt is the is the daughter of Ethiopia. And there's no way that Egypt would have become the prosperous nation that it became without Ethiopia. Okay? It's impossible. Geologically, let's state that again. And so, geologically, Egypt is the daughter of Ethiopia. Okay? Clear. And even today, they was talking about, the Ethiopians is talking about building dams up in Ethiopia that would cut some of the water because, 80% of the water of the Nile come out of Ethiopia. And so if you dam the river anywhere up in there, you could literally kill, you could, cut the water that's coming into Egypt off. Not just cut it down, but you technically are the master of the water. And because Egypt is a desert, you know what I'm saying? And damn near all the water that's coming into Egypt is coming through by way of the Nile. If the Ethiopians technically wanted to, destroy the invaders of ancient Egypt, they could have dammed the river. You understand? But because so many of our people was probably down there along the Nile, that they did not do it. You understand? But even today, militarily, you know what I'm saying? If Ethiopia or Sudan ever got into it with Egypt, if they dam that river anywhere, and I mean, they can dam it as many times as they want. They could literally starve Egypt to death if they wanted to. So what am I saying? As you go further and further and further up the river, the Africans at the river have, military advantages over you because they got more of the origin of the river. You understand what I'm saying? They got more more length and more more parts of the origin of the river. Since the river is flowing from the south down north. Okay, so that's very clear. Okay, that's very clear. So the kings in Egypt were very respectful to those kings up that river, whether they was Nubians, whether they was Ethiopians, Cushite, whether they was Puntites, all the way down in the land of Punt. You understand? And we don't give enough credit to the land of Punt, even though it's not like it's a mythological land. It's documented that under Hatshepsut and many other kings that they went to the land of Punt. So there were many, many lands, nations up the Nile River that the ancient Egyptians had high respect and high regards and traded with. You understand what I'm saying? So we looking here, you're looking at, to the left, you're looking at map of the Nile Valley. And as you can see, the majority of the great temples are in the south. They are in the south. So though they built the pyramids down, in grandeur, these are their cemetery in grandeur. You understand what I'm saying? To let them motherfuckers know as they come into Egypt, you dealing with gods. But when them kings, even though Memphis, which is right next to Cairo, if you look at Cairo, Memphis is not on the map, but Memphis would have been very much in that same area, right next to Cairo, but on the other side of the river. If you see the left side, which is or the west side of the Nile Valley, is the land where the sun set. So that's where they put their burials, and they live on the left side of the river. So Memphis would have been on the other side of the river, okay, from Cairo and Giza, okay, and that was the first capital. But even though they ruled from down there, why did they set that land up? Why did they set Because it was necessary to control the foreigners that were trying to come into Egypt. Even though the greater part of the civilization was in the south, now it's time to set up a northern post to, check any type of foreigners that was coming in the land. You see what I'm saying? And so again, even though they ruled at Memphis, all the great universities, all the great temples, and even at Memphis, when the first kings of Memphis, they went deep into Abydos to be buried. You see what I'm saying? Giza is one of the latter cemeteries, okay? But when you talk about like I think the first, second, and third dynasties were buried at Abydos. And it's not on this map, but we'll show it very soon. You understand what I'm saying? So you're looking at the great, even the Valley of the Kings and Queens. You see Karnak, the great temple of Karnak, which is the university system, Luxor, the Grand Lodge, Essena, Etfu, Kamumbo, Aswan, Philae, Abu Simbel. All of those are in the south. Okay, so they show you that was the heartland of the Africans. It was in the south, coming up out of Nubia. And if you see at the last city at the bottom on the left is Abu Simbel, and then you pick up, Abu Simbel. Is it on the next? But you could go to Philae, okay, which is, the next up from Abu Simbel. You see Philae, and then you come over to the right, and you see Philae is 4 dots down. If you see the first cataract, you see Philae. Okay, now that to the left is supposed to be the Egyptian nation, but up under that, you see it's still, hundreds of more temples. You understand what I'm saying? So there is no break in between Egypt and Nubia. That's, and people are not showing the Africans that. Is you could come down Karnak, Luxor, Essena, Etfu, Kamumbo, Aswan, Philae, Abu Simbel. Then you come over to Dhaka. You got Buhin. You got Simna, Kerma. And it's Kustur. These is all cities that got temples in them. You understand what I'm saying? So you're talking about thousands and thousands of miles of nothing but Nubian and Egyptian temples. Okay, and so it's disingenuous to show, just the temples in Egypt as if that's all the Nile Valley was. These temples go far, far down into the Sudan. And this is all one civilization. This is all one and if you look even at Hatshepsut and you look at on her temple at El Badari, you understand what I'm saying? You see the Punthites, which is way down in today's Somalia, and certain areas of northern, or better yet, southern Ethiopia, and Somalia, and so on and so forth. You'll see that you're talking about at least 3,000 miles of Nile Valley civilization. So you're not going to come and talk about nobody brought nothing to Africa. You understand what I'm saying? We are showing you, just the grandeur, you understand, of thousands and thousands of miles of, pyramids, temples, and African technology, spirituality, and civilization. So you see right here, you see Napata, in Napata, Meroe, you understand? This is in Nubia. And at the time of the 25th dynasty, you see that Napata was the capital of the Egyptian empire, which is really the Kush empire, because the Kushites is ruling at this time. So in reality, Egypt is a part of the Nubian empire, the Kushite empire. So this, they ruling from deep down into Sudan all the way down to Memphis. Now you see Memphis is in Lower Egypt. Okay, you see where Memphis at the very top, which is the north. You see Memphis. That's the first capital of ancient Egypt, and that was constructed by one of the earliest kings, Mena, who Memphis is named after. So since Memphis is the first capital of Upper Egypt, you don't have no Egypt until Memphis is constructed. So prior to Memphis, all of this is Nubia, it's Kush, all the way down. You see, so when you see Upper Egypt, that's actually Nubia. Okay, this is Nubia all the way down. And then eventually Egypt will become a colony of Nubia, of Ethiopia, because it's necessary to check foreigners coming in the land from the Sinai Peninsula and the Mediterranean. And eventually, see, Egypt being on the Mediterranean and having access to the Red Sea geographically, it was in a location to dominate all world trade. And once that acknowledgement was realized and Egypt became a nation and it took control of world commerce, it became even more powerful than Nubia, the mother. You understand what I'm saying? And you can see right here where the Nubians had many, many great ships. You understand? Just as well as the Egyptians. And they were coming up over the what they call the Indian Ocean long, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. I'm gonna bring up this video that I didn't bring up, on the last video about the Adamite Islands and the Jarara tribe over there, where they say that they came from Africa over 70,000 years ago. You see what I'm saying? These are the Nagas, these are the Africans that was in them lands, not just in the Adamite Islands, but on the landmass of India. Before any of the Indians you see there today, but many of our people were pushed down eventually into the islands, and up out of them land masses by the invaders today, which you call Hindus. Okay, and so this, again, I don't need as we look at some of the dates, you can see, and I'm gonna even go deeper than that. You see the A group, 3,800 to 2,800 BC, 2850 BC. See, that's before Egypt. That's the A group, Seti. Okay, and we understand that Seti. Matter of fact, let me bring that up. Let me bring that up. Because y'all got to understand, y'all got to see the nomes. So y'all can see this. Because that's very crucial that y'all see this. I'm going to just pull them out of there right quick. I know they in here somewhere. And there you go, right there. I knew it was going to be right there. I'm going to just throw this on over and we're going to hit it again. You see? Put that on down there. Now, you see that even when you're talking about Narmer, one of the first kings that ruled in Egypt, he came deep in the south. You see him down there at number 3. If you go to the left and you go up the White Nile and you see that, down at the 3rd district, the 3rd county, which is Nican, this is where Narmer, one of the first kings of ancient Egypt, came from. So it's very, very clear that, the first kings of ancient Egypt were Nubians. There's no doubt about it. So don't say they came from nowhere else. They came from up the river Nile. That's where they came from. They didn't come from no Americas. They didn't come from Greece or Europe or none of that. We know exactly where they came from. And anytime Egypt was conquered or attacked, the king came from the south, whether it was Mentuhotep II, who was one of the kings that came up to protect Egypt, whether it was Amenhotep III, they always not Amenhotep, Amos, who was married to Amos Nefertari, the Nubian empress. Okay, they always came from the south. Now, if you look to the right, these are the districts of ancient Egypt, okay, and Nubia. And as you see, they count from the south. 1, 2, 3, all the way. And then when you get down to 22, that's actually Ethiopia. And then you see right there to the right, you see the 20 districts and nomes of what they call Lower Egypt. And you can see they still counting from the south. You see, one is Memphis. And Memphis is the first capital of ancient Egypt. So technically, what you see to the right is Egypt. Everything up under Memphis is technically Ethiopia. Okay, but then eventually, because of the power and the geographical location of Egypt being the center of all commerce in the ancient world, it will even become more powerful. It will even become more powerful than his mother in grandeur, but still subordinate, but in architecture and the conquering of the world. And they could not have done it without Nubia. Even though we're talking about the empire of Egypt, even then it's still one nation, because Ramesses and many of the Tutmosis and all of that went out to build that empire, the very core of their army was Nubians. Okay, so we must make that clear. Okay, and so you see right here, we're gonna get off into this. We look at even, these is the different eras of Nubia, and you can see right there all the way down where you go into the Meroic period, 400 BC to 400 AD, Nabatean period, 730 BC to 400 BC, the kings from Napata. This is the 25th dynasty. Okay, this is the 25th dynasty. Then you got the Nabatean period. Then you got the Kushite Pharaoh, but that's still in there. I don't know why they put that like that. Kushite Pharaoh, 713 to 456 BC. So it's still up in there because they rule from Napata. It says 25th dynasty rules over a territory encompassing Egypt and Sudan. So it got to be known that there was always a relationship between Egypt and Nubia. No Egypt by any other civilization other than Nubia. Then you come down, I don't know what they're talking about, dark ages. Ain't no dark ages in the Nile Valley. You're talking about Egyptian occupation, 1480 to 680 BC, conquest of Cush by Egyptian pharaohs of the new kingdom, destruction of the city of Karma. Okay, and so I'm gonna move down to the earliest period, when we're dealing with the beginning of ancient Egypt, because they say ancient Egypt, the first king ruled around 3100 BC. So if you come down to pre-Karma, which is in the Sudan, you got 3200 to 2500 BC, several settlements, including proto-urban cities on the site of the eastern necropolis. You got Neolithic Karma, 4700 to 4300 BC, first villages of stock breeders on the site of the eastern necropolis. And then all the way down, you see cemeteries, settlements, and tombs, all the way down, even to where you get down at the 500,000 to 200,000 evidence of occupation. Okay, so this, you talking about the dynastic period of ancient Egypt is at 3100 BC. And you could go into the Sudan and in Karma, and you can see different areas of the Sudan that's all evidence of occupation of all type of iron smelting, evidence of villages and this, that. This is long before ancient Egypt, okay? And so here we going into the New York Times, okay? Now, look at this. I got this from Dr. Ben. 43,000-year-old mine discovered in Swaziland, okay? Did you hear that? We're talking about 43,000 years. Okay, that's before any goddamn civilization on an iron mine. Okay, listen to this. Special to the New York Times, Johannesburg, South Africa, February 7th. This is 1970. South African archaeologists have reported discovering the world's oldest mine, the mine in an iron ore mountain in neighboring Swaziland is 43,000 years old, according to radiocarbon dating. Okay, and so here we talking about, how hot you got to have that shit to, to start smelting metals and this, that, and the third. You understand? So not only are we mastering masonry, we are also, smelting all types of metals and so on. So Africa is at the forefront of all science and technology. Now, look at this. This is also coming from the New York Times. I also got this from Dr. Ben. What am I showing you? I'm showing you that the southern area of Africa was far advanced, even before the northern areas of Africa even developed, that the science, that the religion, that the peoples are coming from the south, bringing this science, this spirituality, this technology, this culture down into the north, down into Sudan and Egypt from further up the river, all the way, because even as our people developed, they went to south before they came north. So there's evidence of our people living in southern Africa long before they came to the northern region. Okay, so we're dealing with Nubian monarchy called the oldest, not Egypt, Nubian. Now, listen what they say. Evidence of the oldest recognizable monarchy in human history, preceding the rise of the earliest Egyptian kings by several generations. It has been discovered in artifacts from ancient Nubia in Africa. Okay, until now, it has been assumed that at that time, the ancient Nubian culture, which existed in what is now northern Sudan and southern Egypt, had not advanced beyond a collection of scattered tribal clans and chiefdoms. The existence of rule by kings indicates a more advanced form of political organization in which many chiefdoms were united under a more powerful and wealthier ruler. The discovery is expected to stimulate a new appraisal of the origins of of civilization in Africa, raising the question of to what extent later Egyptian culture may have derived its advanced political structure from the Nubians. So they still in denial, even though they got the artifact. And this is March 1st, 1979. Okay? Now, listen to this. The new findings suggest that ancient Nubians may have reached this stage of political development as long as 3300 BC, several generations before the earliest documented Egyptian king. And I'm going to show you it's even further than that. It's even further than that. See, they tried to keep it so close that where, even though you say Egypt started at 3100 BC, okay, that's 33, okay. They ain't too far older than Egypt. But the reality is Nubia is thousands of years that the Nubians that are living in the Sudan has shown development in that area thousands and thousands and thousands of years before 3300 BC. So that's very disingenuous to put that little number up there, okay? The discovery is based on study of artifacts from ancient tombs excavated 15 years ago in an international level effort. Okay, let me come back up here. And it's talking about, wait a minute, okay. Let me go in. It said, now they found, okay, wait a minute, let me see, is this the one? Wait a minute. Okay, well, you know what? They talking about this incense burner. Now, as they went and supposedly they call it, when you digging up people's tombs, they doing archaeological work, but they just, they grave robbing. And up in Sudan, in a particular city called Kustul, they found an incense burner. And on that incense burner was a king sitting on the throne with the white crown or the crown of Upper Egypt on his head. And there was a semblance of the temple of the, what later became the Egyptian temple already being displayed in ancient Nubia before Egypt is even born. Okay, so it says right here, clue on incense burner. The majestic figure on the incense burner, Dr. Williams said, is the earliest known representation of a king in the Nile Valley. Should I say that again? Okay, and I'm going to show you the incense burner. The majestic figure on the incense burner, Dr. Williams said, is the earliest known representation of a king in the Nile Valley. His name is unknown, but he is believed to have lived approximately 3 generations before the time of Scorpion, the earliest known Egyptian ruler. Scorpion was one of the 3 kings said to have ruled Egypt before the start of what is called the first dynasty around 3050 BC. Okay, it also said, Dr. Williams said that the dating is based on correlation of artistic styles in the Nubian pottery with similar styles in the pre-dynastic Egyptian pottery, which is well dated, okay, which is well dated. He said some of the Nubian artifacts bore disconnected symbols resembling those of Egyptian hieroglyphs that were not readable. Okay, right there, showing you that the hieroglyphs come out of Nubia. They were on their way to literacy. See, they couldn't deal with that. See, they had to try to clip a nigga wing, saying they weren't literate yet. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. You ain't on this level and you're not literate. Okay, so the evidence is our people was well literate, even going into them time, but they just don't want to keep pushing the dates back. And at this time they ain't even on the planet yet. So the further and further you go back, it shows and proves that African people were in high technology and high civilization, tens of thousands, not no motherfucking thousands, tens of thousands a year before the European stood up on 2 legs and was able to put shoes on his feet. Okay, he said it was not known what the ancient Nubian civilization was called at the time, but he suspected it was Seti. Okay, Seti, a name known from ancient Egyptian writings that means land of the bow, referring to the weapon which apparently was deemed characteristic of peoples of that part of Africa. Now let me come on out of that. Okay, I done some reading. Now it's time to get off into it. This is the burn. Okay, and so I could come back here. You see ancient Nubia, A group. See, it's 3800 to 3100 BC. And if you see the A group, you see that's the darkened, area, Aswan to Buhin, and you see Kustul. You see Kustul, Kustul, okay? And this is where they found this incense burn. Now, if you look in the middle, you'll see seated ruler with white crown. So right there, it already shows the king sitting on the throne. Okay, so the semblance of Set as the throne is already in existence. You see he's a divine king. He's not just a king; he's a divine king. That means he's of God and he's divinely anointed to rule on the throne. He's divinely anointed. Today, the Pope tries to steal the aura of the Pharaoh where he says he's divinely appointed to be the Pope. But the African kings of the Nile Valley are the first divine royalty on the planet, divinely appointed by the Creator, him and herself, to rule in Africa. And if you look on the very end on the right, you see the boat. You see the ship. The sacred boats are there. You see the sacred boats are there, and then you see the facade, the palace facade on the end. Okay, the facade on the end. So that's very similar to Saqqara. You see what I'm saying? That's very similar to Saqqara. Okay, so we know exactly where the civilization of ancient Egypt is coming from. We very clear about it. Now, I got this from African Kingdoms of the Past, and it was a little book. Now that is a white boy. I want y'all to understand. That's Kenny Man, and he wrote Kush, Egypt, Kush, and Aksum. You understand what I'm saying? The three major civilizations of the Nile Valley. And see, in here you see, it got a timeline, and it says 10,000 BC, earliest cultivation of grains along the Nile, 5,000 to 4,000 BC, before the cracker, earliest permanent settlement along the Nile. And then you see right there, 3,800, okay? Possible founding in Nubia of earliest known monarchy, okay? And then you come down and see 3,100 Menes or Narmer unites Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. So in reality, Nubia is almost 1,000, because you're saying 3,100 from 3,800 is 700 years. So you almost talking about 1,000 years. Where the other one, they put the 3,300 up there, you know what I'm saying, to make it seem like, it ain't nothing but a couple hundred years. But in reality, it's almost 1,000 years older as far as dynasty, showing monarchy, showing a king, showing a crown, showing a throne. When you go back to this, this incense, that's the first image of a throne in history. That's the first image of a crown in history. You understand what I'm saying? And so you're talking about, 3,800, and then you got the A group. Now, what's significant about the A group is that, there was a very significant find as far as one of the ancient Nubian cemeteries. And what's critical about that cemetery is that the graves was very similar to the graves of the first dynasty of ancient Egypt. Okay, and what was so profound, these was royal graves which means they wasn't little graves. They was damn near the same size as the ones you see in early Egypt. So we dispelling the myth of where Egypt came from today. You know, it's no damn, they been knew it, but they were so busy trying to push this Eurocentric where the dynasty, use a goddamn lie. Use a goddamn lie because they didn't already proved it. And if y'all want to go see the Nubian artifacts, you understand, from this area, it's in Chicago at the Oriental Institute of Chicago, because when we was reading from the New York Times, the scholars that they talking about is from the Oriental Institute of Chicago, and many of the artifacts is there, and I think they're on display. So if you want to go do some first-hand research of that area, all you had to do is go to Chicago, to the Oriental Institute of Chicago, and you can see those Nubian artifacts. So at 3,500 to 2,800, this is the A group in Lower Egypt. And this period of Nubia is the key, or they think the jump off before ancient Egypt. The key jump off before ancient Egypt, because you can see that they were trading with one another. As you go into the Kustul burial, you will see things from Upper Egypt, and really this is Ethiopia. You understand what I'm saying? This ain't even no Egypt at this time. They put Egypt up there to really, you know, and you see Abydos. That's the first cemetery of ancient Egypt. So Abydos is where the first three dynasties were buried. So you see how close they are to Kustul. And you see a man always and a woman always bury themselves close to their ancestors. And you see that most of the early kings buried themselves in the south. But then when Egypt became so profound and so great, then the kings started burying themselves up there at Giza. But even then, even in the latter dynasties, they still came south. The Valley of the King, that's in the south. So the majority of all ancient Egyptian artifacts is in the south. I'm tired of playing games. Tired of these Negroes with that cheap history them niggas throwing out. We crushing that today. Wake your ass up, African family. The facts has already been out there. So when we look at the A group of ancient Egypt, okay, where we find this the incense burnt and many more, we about to show the graves. Okay, now look at this. This is tomb L23 at Kustul. Okay, so you see the burial chamber and you see the trench. Okay, now when you look, I'm gonna show you Narmer's pyramid. You know, his matter of fact, I should have had it right there. Okay, here we go. Here we go, right here. Okay, this Mena. Matter of fact, all of this is necessary. But what I want to do, I want to pull this up just a little bit, or back just a little bit, just so I could go straight to the tomb. You know, so I could go straight to the tomb. Now, let me bring this just up. Let me bring this up. Let me bring this up. And you know what? Because I need to do this now. I need to do this. Let me double this. Let me copy this and bring this down. So when I work out, you know what I'm saying? You see the profoundness of what I'm dealing with. Matter of fact, I'll just put it right here. Okay. Okay. So right there, you see, I'm gonna show it, and then I'm gonna go back in. You see Abydos where the arrow is at. Okay, Abydos is here. This is where the first kings or the first dynasty, second and third dynasties was buried. You see, aha, you see that? I'm gonna blow this up. I'm gonna blow this up. Do you see how many rooms? Because those are considered rooms. Aha, okay? and you see all the small room and all the, the Jir, Anija, Purinsel, Mirani. Now that's a queen. Okay, that's a queen over there. Den, Ka, Simmerket, Casa Kimway. Do you see them damn burials? You understand what I'm saying? Those are rooms. These goddamn burials are bigger, and these are the first goddamn burials of the Nile, Egypt. These is large, very, very, very large tombs. You cannot go nowhere on the planet and find kings and queens with these size tombs at no time of the civilization, whether it be Greece, whether it be Rome, whether it be Mayan, we're talking about at the beginning. You understand? These are so you already know that this is not the beginning of no damn civilization. These people have already been developing at this point in time. You can't, nigga, you get one little 12 by 6 fucking grave or whatever the fuck it is, and you get it about 6 feet deep, 12 feet long, nigga. That's all you gonna get. And that shit gonna cost your ass $1,000 to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 fucking dollars. Do you know what it would take for? And then you got to understand each one of them rooms. Look at Aha. And he supposed to be he got 3 major ones, and that's this. That's this one right here. He got 3 major ones. But then look at all the smaller tombs down there at the bottom that was filled up with all type of artifacts. Okay, so you talking about 2900 to 2650 BC. Now this is Custul, and I want to show you this because when we come back to the A group, you see Custul is in the darkened area. It's almost at the bottom. You see Custul, and then you see Abydos is at the top up there where it say Egypt. Okay, so you see in Custul, look at the jars, and these are older than Egypt. You talking about, what is the A group? The A group is from 3,500 to 2,800. So you're talking about, you're talking about 400 years. You're talking about 400 years before Egypt, 400 years before these two. Okay, and so you could already see that you see the trenches, you see which are the smaller, tombs on, rooms on the side. You see the major burial chamber, which is the same as these right here, probably one big one. And then you had all the smaller, which is the trench, where you see these large vases. You understand? And whatever else they took. So this was a major royal burial. Okay? And so that they knew because of the same type of jars that was from Abydos, and the same type of jars and different artifact that was from Custul. They knew that these people had been, trading with one another, and that the ones in the Sudan were older than the ones in Egypt. Okay, so there's no doubt about where it came from. So even the burials, when we was dealing with the burial, wait a minute, let me go over here. Let me come over here so I can rock your world real quick. See right here, where you come over here and you look at the different burials, they knew based on the burial up under, it don't matter whether it was a mastaba, whether it was a tri-level mastaba, which they call a step pyramid, whether it was the Great Pyramids down at Giza. The burial tomb up under the structure primarily stayed the same. It developed, got larger, but there was uniqueness in it where they could trace how they, the fetal position, certain things that was left down in the tomb, images of the goddess and this, that, and the third. And even though, they developed to the sarcophagus, they kept the African woman in the top of the sarcophagus. It developed, but many aspects of it stayed the same, where they could trace the damn burial all the way back tens of thousands of years, same burial. Please quit trying to steal our history and quit thinking we have not studied our master teachers and to develop. You niggas is still stealing from white boys that been outdated over 200 years ago. That's how far back you niggas are. And that show you do not have any research of your own, because if you did, you would have been checked that shit. You niggas still going to LaPlangion and James Churchward and shit like that, who did studies in the Americas before they found the old man. And they made so many silly ass, and created so many silly lies that been dispelled since that it's so damn, it's so fucking humorous. You niggas falling out their chair that you niggas is taking from weak white scholars that been refuted damn near 100 and some years ago. You understand what I'm saying? So let me go on back here. Because on this Nubia, and if I had to come back to this, I will. Okay? And so you're talking about the first dynasty, the Jir. And look at this. Do you see that? So when you're looking at these, this is the first dynasty. Do you see all the rooms that would have been filled with all type of artifacts? I don't want people to think Egypt was never a civilization that was developing. It was already fully developed. But because the area was new land, you got to get the population in there. You understand what I'm saying? You can't build big, this is new land. And so these are the first kings, but they already highly developed, coming out of highly developed societies in Nubia. And these are the first kings to come down and colonize Egypt. It was already one land, but this is virgin land. But we getting intrusions from the sea. We getting intrusions from the Sinai Peninsula, and it's causing us to come down here, set up administration in Egypt, and check all foreign intrusion into the land. Okay, and so this is one of the, I think this is the second or third king of the first dynasty. Okay, and so as you see, each one of them rooms would have been filled with all type. The major one in the middle is where the king. That's very elaborate. You understand what I'm saying? And not only that, these are the ceremonial boats, just like you got Khufu's boat. You understand what I'm saying? You see that next to the early king's tomb, they had also the ark, which they would have, when they pass on, they would sail on the celestial Nile, just like the god Ra, just like Khufu got his ark next to his pyramid. These kings had their arks next to the tomb. These are the oldest boats that ever been found on the planet. They are at Abydos. Okay, these are the oldest boat found at Abydos, at that same royal cemetery. That is right there. You understand? And you can look it up. Okay? And so again, when you're looking at that crown, you can see that it is nothing more. And I got even better pictures, on one of the other lectures. I ain't gonna do it right now because we at the closing of this one, real soon. Now we're looking at another pre-dynastic find. And so you can see the Twa. This is photo of Terra Netta tile from the University of Chicago Oriental Institute. The Terra Netta tile is pre-dynastic, being found by British Egyptologist Flinders Petrie in the early temple at Abydos. Okay, underneath the dynastic temple, underneath it. So what you're understanding is that when you go to Egypt, many of them temples are on top of even more ancient temples. So when you go to Abydos, and Flinders Petrie was up there and he dug up under there and found some of the what they call the Anu people. Okay, the Anu people, and you see they the Twa. You see him with the staff in his hand, and from my understanding, you see the god Set right there, which would later be known as Set. So I wonder why I say, damn, why they so hard on Set? You understand the reason why? Because the earliest Africans that came down that river, the pre-dynastic Africans, was worshiping Set. Don't nobody talk about that. I say, well, damn, every time you hear something about Set, they talking about Set means evil. And my thing is, just like you heard that the early Nubian civilization was called Seti. I said, well, damn, when the Nubians named their civilization Seti and this, that, why would they do that if it meant evil to them? You understand what I'm saying? So that's again where you don't know what the fuck you talking about. You take one bland definition and you just paint it all over every fucking thing. And it's quite obvious that our people did not look at that deity as being something evil, when in fact the goddamn oldest nation on the planet is named after the damn deity. See what I'm saying? When you're talking about the first district of Egypt. Let me go back up and I'm done. What do you see down there? Number one, Seti, the very first one. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't trust nothing that white people be talking about. You understand what I'm saying? They make you hate the origin of the civilization. So in essence, by hating Set, and you hating the origin of the damn civilization. Now let me keep it moving, because I clearly got some heavy work. You understand, down here. And I'm gonna get off into this, and then I'm gonna go out in all power, waking our family up. See, this is on the walls of Ramesses VI, if I'm not mistaken. You understand? Or Ramesses II, one of the Ramesses. And these are his sons. These are not just Nubians on the wall. These are Ramesses, if I'm not mistaken, either the 6th or the 2nd. And I'll get it the next time I'm on there. These are his sons. And you see the very, Nubians of the day represent the same cultural. Not that they ain't outsiders. They in there in power. They are of the royalty. You see him right there with the leopard skin. You understand what I'm saying? He's of the priesthood. You understand what I'm saying? He's a priest, okay? No European, no Asian ever held this type of authority in ancient Egypt. So you see our dark African brothers and sisters were a very core part of ancient Egypt. Now, here we go. You see, I was in the London British Museum, the Metropolitan Museum of New York, you know what I'm saying? And they got the Nubian murals up there. Now, what's key, you see the Nubians bringing down key zoo types, many key animals that became deities in ancient Egypt. Now, even what some of the most sacred of the zoo types, the leopard, which identified the priest. You already see that the Nubians already got that, they already of the priesthood. They created the priesthood. So you see that the Nubians, or the Egyptians, adopted the leopard being of the sacred priesthood from the Nubians. And as you see, the Nubians is bringing down the leopard skins. So one of the key aspects of the Egyptian priesthood, they getting, trade and those things that define the priesthood from the Nubians, okay? And wherever, you understand, wherever the animals, which we call animal spirits, you understand, the leopard is an animal spirit that's highly sacred to the Egyptian priesthood. They got these traditions from the Nubians, and you can see the Nubians actually bringing live leopards and leopard skins, okay, from up out of the Sudan, okay? Let me move forward. As you see in Southern Africa, West Africa, you see the kings wearing the leopard skin. This was a tradition with the Africans of the South, especially of the South. I'm not gonna say the West so much, because but the West was there too. I don't want to say, a lot of people want to say that the West Coast traditions of Africa, or the West part of the continent was much, much later. But based on my research, Africans started populating the west coast of Africa almost 80,000 years ago. So, I mean, we got to quit saying it may not be as old as the East Coast, but it ain't young by no stretch of the imagination. Okay, so you see a Southern tradition, you see the cultural connection with all parts of Africa. Okay, the leopard skin as a semblance of chiefdom, of royalty, of priesthood, spirituality is an African tradition, and nobody can claim none of that come up out the South. Okay, here, the Nubian was the storehouse for cultural wealth of ancient Egypt. Now, you see the first African, you understand? You see he got rings of gold. You understand? That's what Nubia was known for, new gold, the land of gold. Okay, and then the second African, you see he got bull tails in his hand, which is another symbol significant in Egyptian spirituality. The apis bull, which was sacred to Osiris. Okay, and so you see that all of the traditions, the animal spirits of ancient Egypt came from Nubia. Okay, that didn't come from nowhere else. Not no Rome, no Greece. They don't exist at no Maya, no Aztec, no Inca, none of that. This is an African tradition. Okay, and so when you look at the traditions of ancient Egypt, it is clear they come out of Nubia. You see in the last African, you see the leopard skin. You also see some more gold. Look like piles of gold on a plate. And then at the bottom, what do you see? You see the yellow baboon, which is what? Sacred to Tahuti. Sacred to Tahuti. You see all of these animals, their homeland and the majority, where their environment and habitat is in the South. And I'm gonna show you that on the map. Okay, again, showing you, and then you see the variations in the skin color. You got Africans that's all, black, pitch black. Then you got brown skin Africans. Okay, showing you that there's many variations of colors within the Nubians. And it look, not only do they got the leopard skin, you see they got them giraffe skins on too. So that the Nubians just clown. We got all what you want. You understand? They are the, they leading in all type of fashion and all the things that are, when you talking about people that want the best of the best, they got to get it from the Nubians. Okay, bringing it down. See the yellow baboon, and you see where that baboon, which is sacred to Tahuti, where his natural habitat and environment is from. So if you saying that some other nation brought the technology and civilization to Egypt, how do you explain this? You understand? We can trace not only the architecture, we can trace the spirituality and all of that to the southern portions of the Nile. So there, wherever the animal spirit came from, the wisdom came from. So the wisdom of Tahuti was in the South long before it was in the North. Okay? Let me keep it moving. Now, this is another key factor, the Ethiopian ostrich feather. Okay, so you see the Africans, the Nubians bringing up trading with the Africans, the ostrich, which was very sacred to the Egyptian, because you see that the feather of Mayat is a Ethiopian ostrich feather. It's not just any feather. Okay, that's an Ethiopian ostrich. You see the ostrich egg at the top, right up under the feather. No, that's an Ethiopian ostrich. Okay, and I'm gonna show you the habitat and environment of that ostrich. It's from the South. Okay, so when you're looking at Osiris, you see that those are Ethiopian ostrich feathers on his crown. Okay, even now to the right, you see Shu, and also Amen. His feathers are Ethiopian ostrich feathers. That's very key. Showing you that these deities, their wisdom, the wisdom of these deities originated in the South. Okay? You got to look at the whole. You see, it's a certain thing. And if didn't nobody tell you that either, you wouldn't know how to make that connection. So all of these deities are wearing key Southern African origin symbols from Southern Africa. The Ethiopian ostrich feather, right there. Okay. Now the bull. Now, if you look at the earliest artifact of ancient Egypt, you see it's the Narmer palette. Who was the? We showed his tomb. It was very large tomb, many rooms. Now, if you look, you clearly see the bull tail behind the brother. He's a brother of the crab, and you see that the Nubians are bringing these bulls' tails up. This is a very one of the sacred instruments of the brotherhood, one of the sacred instruments of the spirituality of ancient Egypt. It is clear we're showing definitive connection between the Nubians and the Africans. We don't got to ask where it came from. We can show exactly where it did not come from no other place other than the southern lands of Ethiopia, Nubia, and even further south into Uganda, all the way down into Rwanda, even down into South Africa. So when we're talking about the ostrich, we see, the areas in which the ostrich, is environment is predominant. And you see they got different varieties of ostriches, but you see profoundly that the closest one to Egypt is in the Sudan and Ethiopia, which is primarily the same ostrich. Okay, I done showed you where the yellow baboon from the south. I'm showing you where the ostrich feather, the Ethiopian ostrich is from the south. So the greatest symbols of Egyptian spirit, even the leopard, is from the south, and is of the African spirituality long before it's a part of the Egyptian spirituality. Okay, even many of the essentials of the divine king, the royal fans, which you see here. You understand? You can see also the elephant tusk, the ivory. You understand? Brought up by the Nubian. So not only were they bringing up a lot of the here. You see right here. You see to the right. You see King Tut, one of King Tut's royal chair, and you see that very same chair being created by the carpenters and architects, and you understand, of the south of Nubia. Okay, these are the craftsmen of Nubia creating these royal artifacts. Okay, the fan and even many of the royal divine chairs of the royalty. Okay, again showing you. Now look at this. The very the shields. Now look at this. I want y'all to look at this now. You can look at the three major ones. You see the second one from the left. You see that's leopard skin. And then you can see the black and red one look like bovine, which is a cattle. Okay, so you see leopard, and then you see cattle shields. Now look at this. You see the leopard one from King Tut, showing you that the Nubians even constructed many of the things you see, even the gold artifact of King Tut. You see, this is King Tut's shield, and it's obvious to see that the Nubians was even responsible for constructing many of the royal shields that was put down in the tombs. Now check this out. You can look right there to the left. You see the leopard skin shield, the Nubian shield, and you can see that, they was in many. This is King Tut's shield. It's the very same shield. Now look at this. This is up under Crete. This is a fresco, a rocktery fresco. Okay. Now this is up under the island of Crete. This is in the Mediterranean. Okay. And as you can see, they got the same fucking shells, showing you that Nubia was trading deep into the Mediterranean. This ain't just no little civilization. They trading deep into the Mediterranean all the way into Greece. Okay, so this is a global empire, a global trader of with many nations, okay, in the Mediterranean, even in India. Okay, now I want to show you this last one. I want to show you this last one to back the one up with Crete, because they really don't show y'all this. And it's called the captain of the guards. Let me see if it's down here. You know what? It ain't Egypt revolutionary. I think it's Kemet. Here you go. I want to put this over here so y'all can see this. I want y'all to see this. No, it ain't. It is over there. Damn, why? I ain't see it. I ain't see it. I want y'all to see this. They found this at the uh the castle of Knossos, which is on the might be all it might be all the way at the top. Let me go up here and see. There you go. Look at me. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. And I got some more, but I can't show it all. Just to prove, you know, that I know exactly what I'm saying. No, I wouldn't make nothing up. This was in the to the right. That's in the castle of Knossos, okay, which is on the island of Crete. And it shows the Ethiopians on the island. It shows, you see the Cretans up front and you see the Africans in the back. That was on that, which they call the captain of the guard. You understand what I'm saying? To show you that the Ethiopians was on the island before the land, what you call the Greek civil, the Minoan civilization was before the Greek civilization. Okay, so it shows you right there that Crete, and I got books, was closer to Egypt than it was with Greece, and it was actually the Greeks, the Mycenaeans, that destroyed the Minoan civilization. Okay, so when you look right there and you see that they got the shields of the Ethiopians, you see right there the Ethiopians was right there on the island, proving hands down, I know exactly. And then you see to the left that the Egyptians rock them same shields. Okay, these are the same. And so they distributing these shields all over the damn known world at this time. Just to show you, so the Nubians was an international trading conglomerate. Okay, and this is where Egypt got damn near 100% the source of his civilization, his spirituality. You understand what I'm saying? Many of his great artifacts, many of his architects, they were also, the Nubians was also a part. And then after the pyramid age ended in ancient Egypt, the Nubians started up the pyramid age damn near 1,000 years later, to show you that they already had the knowledge within the civilization already. They didn't have to be taught it. They taught it to the Egyptians. They just took it to the Egyptians took it to the most grandest level, but the Nubians were still technologically superior to all other nations outside of Africa. And that Egypt and Nubia are one and the same. They're inseparable. And Nubia, Ethiopia, is the mother of ancient Egypt. In that, don't let let me come on up out of that. Let me come on up out of here. Come on up out of here, y'all. Come on up out of here. So I did my job today. You understand what I'm saying? Niggas said that the Mayan pyramids was so I put that on niggas to show you exactly where it came from. And I did it in a way where, it's very quick. I was very technical in the things that I said, showing you the graves, showing you the development of the tombs, showing you how the Nubian tombs are almost identical to the early tombs of the Egyptian kings, showing you that you could go and get the documents that they had artifacts, the crown, the throne, come out of Nubia. Nigga, you're done. When you ready for that smoke, give me a call, because I got a casket for you, nigga. I want to put you on down. I'm going to do you right. I'm your brother. I ain't going to do you wrong, nigga. I'm going to give you a little tombstone. I'm going to say, here lies an indigenous Negro who followed your outdated European fake scholars who use that to lure African people away from their divine legacy of Africa, the Nile Valley. Nigga, I'm gonna put you in the grave. When you ready, quit going to them little niggas that you're fucking with. Call my name. Say, I'm ready for all the smoke you got, Seti. I can beat you with, please say that to me, nigga. Please, nigga. Quit going and being a studio motherfucking studio teacher where you up on the internet. Motherfucker, I can rock any city in the world, nigga. Rock it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm being called in. See, you niggas is studio. Nigga, I'm internationally known to rock that motherfucking mic, packing the house, nigga. Then done that. So when you ready to step to me, you understand what I'm saying? Because I got the belts, nigga. I got all three, nigga. I'm the international champion of all time. Holding this bitch up now. While niggas is out here on silly, holding it up now, nigga. You understand what I'm saying? When you ready for that smoke, my nigga, please give me a call, because I'm ready for all the smoke. All right, family. How do you like that? Tell me how you like that. How y'all like that? That's right. That's right. And y'all make sure that y'all share this and let everybody know that this is the General Sarasu Seti YouTube page. Tomorrow, family, I'm gonna be back over on the Sarah. You understand? Y'all done got used to being on the Sarah page. You understand what I'm saying? But make sure y'all share these videos, tell people to subscribe, hit notification. You understand? Thank you for your support. Hit notification. You understand what I'm saying? So when I go live on the General Seti, y'all get it, because a lot of time, this page been why I ain't been doing live screen, because niggas been hating. You know what I'm saying? And so I ain't been on this one live in about 6 months. So a lot of people probably don't even think I go live on this motherfucker. But I'm Black, family. This is the 2-man riot. General Seti YouTube page, Sarasu and Seti YouTube page. Hit subscribe, hit that notification, hit the likes. Thank you for all your support. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, family. This is the General Sarasu and Seti saying, hey, hit that like. Hit that like too. Hit that like, share it. This is the General Sarasu and Seti saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.